Welcome to the GHE. In this tutorial, we'll cover clear tube encased color rod. So I'm going to start with a tube whose inside diameter is just slightly larger than the color rod that I'm going to slip to the inside. I'm just melting off and closing the tip. I'm going to slip about 4 inches of colored rod inside of the tube and just seal it to the end. I don't want to melt all the clear over quite yet. I just want to seal the end. You could do this with any length rod that you wanted. This is just a good size for the demonstration. You want to pop a hole in the end so the air can escape later on, as close to the tip of this as you can. I'm actually going to start encasing this from the other end, so this end needs a handle on it. Just liquid hot seal them together. And melt off the other side just in front of that colored rod. Now our color rod is braced and it's not going to slap around inside of the tube as we melt these two together. That way we're not going to trap air bubbles. So I just start at one end. Once I get it melted together a little bit, I'm going to attach a handle to this. That'll just give me a little bit of stability as I continue to melt. But you just want to watch that clear glass fall down on top of the color. So just keep melting. You want to do this from one end to the other, squeezing out the air as you go. So just keep an eye on how they're melting together so that you're not trapping air bubbles. You don't want to jump your flame ahead of that melting point, because that's when those air bubbles get trapped. Okay, as we come to the end, just melt as much of it as you can. There's always a little bit of scrap that happens with this process. And then quick encasements are good, but I'm always afraid that the inside rod never got really hot enough, and I've had these crack on me before. So I'm going to pull it into a more workable size at the same time as giving it a second heat. I find that the glass is much more tolerant of being used later on. Okay, so just remember that this is clear cased for future use. If you're doing sculptural work, you will see a seam of clear when you lay this down on a piece. It may not be the best for that particular application. And everywhere that you pull off the rod, the color is actually exposed to the surface. So just keep that in mind. This concludes our tutorial on clear tube encased color rod. Thank you for subscribing to the GHE.